So I was out walking along the river today when I came across two sets of tracks, one from a coyote and another from a domestic dog, and these were right next to each other. And a lot of times people ask when they're starting out tracking, how do you tell the difference between a wild dog and a pet dog? So I thought I would go through it for you. So here's the trail I'm looking at, and I like this one because these two animals are moving almost exactly along the same path, and it gives us a great opportunity to look at the differences between individual tracks. We've got the domestic dog and the coyote right next to each other here, and we'll start by looking at the domestic dog, which people may be more familiar with. So we've got 4 toes, and the biggest difference that you'll notice between the domestic dog and the coyote, in this case, is size. Oftentimes you'll get domestic dogs that are the same size as a coyote or even smaller. So once we rule out size, then we start to look at some other characteristics. The big one that's visible here is the nails. Domestic dogs often have these long, gnarly nails. They're really thick where they connect to the toe, and oftentimes they'll have a slight curve on them. Even when owners trim the nails, they can often get warped from a lifetime of walking around on hard surfaces. The other thing I look for with the nails is the direction that they are pointing. With the domestic dog, these front two are pointing straight up. They've got a slight bend to them, that curvature I was talking about, but the ones on the sides tend to point out. It's pretty slight on this one, but we'll see if we can find a good coyote track to compare it to. Here's a good example of the nails on the coyote. Again, they're just tiny little pinpricks up here, and the nail on the toe on the outside really hugs these inside toes. It's not splaying out to the side, but it's tucked right inside there. This is the coyote, and the first thing you'll notice is that the nails are almost invisible. If you look closely, you'll see that the 2 claws are right up there, and something I look for is that they do not seem to be connected to the toe pads. It almost looks like there's a gap, as if the toes were reaching out and the claws touched in just like that. The other thing I look for in the coyote track is how all the toes are facing forward and streamlined. Wild dogs and domestic dogs often get compared to Olympic sprinters versus your average everyday jogger. With the coyotes being the sprinters, they are well tuned to speed and endurance, and everything about them is efficient, going the same way, versus a pet dog, more of a couch potato, and their toes are less muscular and kind of just all over the place because they're not as fit. Thanks for watching, everyone, and if you have more questions about different types of tracks, feel free to reach out and we'll try to cover them.